Here's a fun development. AI is now discovering things humans can't. Not faster, can't. Lost cities we walked over for centuries. Drugs no chemist would have designed. A 50-year biology problem solved before lunch. 15 discoveries that suggest we've been missing quite a lot. Number 15. AI found early warning signals for wildfires. So here's something that'll keep you up at night. Wildfires are getting worse, and we've been playing catch-up with detection systems that basically wait until something's already burning. Not ideal. But machine learning algorithms did something clever. They combed through massive datasets, weather patterns, vegetation moisture levels, terrain topography, and found correlations that weren't in any existing fire prediction model. Weak signals scattered across completely different domains that, when connected, light up like a warning flare days before ignition. The kicker? Human researchers have been staring at this data for decades. The patterns were there the whole time. We just couldn't see the threads. Now we're looking at prediction windows that could actually give communities time to evacuate and ecosystems a fighting chance. So, AI design just crossed a line it wasn't supposed to cross. And honestly, I'm not mad about it. I've tested more AI tools than I'd like to admit. Most of them glorified slot machines, but Lovart actually thinks like a designer. Unsettling and impressive in equal measure. Let me show you what I mean. Brand poster, social campaign, product mockup, full presentation deck, all from a conversation. But here's where it gets interesting. Don't like the typography? Just tell it. It rewrites artistic lettering like it went to design school. See this? Point, click, change the background, done. No layers, no masks, no existential crisis. Individual elements, move them, swap them. It's like having a designer on call who doesn't charge by the hour. Here's the thing. I went from concept to finished visual in about 4 minutes. No templates, no stock photo rabbit holes, just done. 10 million users figured this out before me apparently. So either I'm late to the party, or you are. Lovart, links in the description. Go make something creative. Number 14. AI improved gravitational wave detection. Moving on to something a bit more cosmic. Gravitational waves, ripples in space-time caused by black holes colliding, neutron stars merging, the universe's greatest hits, basically. The problem? These signals are unbelievably faint, buried under mountains of detector noise. Traditional filtering methods catch the obvious ones, but they're missing a lot. Enter machine learning. These algorithms started picking up signals that classical techniques couldn't touch. Complex, non-linear patterns hiding in static. Not louder signals, just smarter detection. What this means is we've essentially upgraded our hearing. The universe has been broadcasting events we couldn't perceive, and now we're finally tuning in. More black hole mergers, more neutron star collisions, more data points for understanding how space-time actually behaves. Number 13. AI discovered new chemical reactions. Now let's talk chemistry, and not the high school kind. Here's the situation. There are millions of possible chemical reactions out there, but we've only mapped a tiny fraction. Experimentally testing every combination would take centuries. Slight inconvenience. So, AI stepped in and started predicting viable reactions that don't exist in any scientific literature. We're talking entirely novel synthesis pathways, new ways to build pharmaceuticals, advanced materials, industrial chemicals. The distinction matters here. This isn't AI doing chemistry faster. It's AI proposing reactions that trained chemists hadn't conceived of. Molecules combining in ways that weren't in anyone's mental playbook. Basically, we handed the periodic table to a machine, and it found combinations we've overlooked for 100 years. Number 12. AI found unknown brain connectivity patterns. Here's where things get personal, literally inside your head. Neuroscience has always been hypothesis-driven. Researchers propose how brain regions might connect, then test those assumptions. Reasonable approach, but it has a ceiling. AI analyzing brain scans threw out the playbook. Instead of confirming existing theories, it clustered neural activity and found connectivity structures nobody had hypothesized. Networks linking brain regions and configurations that weren't in the textbooks. The short version? We've been mapping the brain with incomplete blueprints. These unexpected patterns could reshape how we understand cognition, memory formation, even mental health disorders. Depression, schizophrenia, anxiety, conditions we've struggled to treat might look different once we're working with the actual wiring diagram instead of our best guess. Number 11. AI discovered new exoplanets hidden in old data. Let's head back to space for a moment. NASA's Kepler mission wrapped up years ago, but decades of telescope data have been sitting in archives, gathering digital dust. Astronomers analyzed it, published their findings, moved on, case closed. Except AI reopened it. Machine learning algorithms combed through that same old Kepler data and found exoplanets that human researchers had missed entirely. Signals too faint, too buried in noise for traditional detection methods to flag. These planets were always there, hiding in data we'd already collected and supposedly finished examining. The takeaway is almost embarrassingly simple. Sometimes discovery isn't about pointing bigger telescopes at new stars. It's about looking at what we already have with better eyes. Number 10. AI is discovering knowledge humans didn't know they were missing. Now we're getting into territory that's a little harder to quantify, but probably more important than everything we've covered so far. Here's the paradigm shift. AI isn't just answering questions we ask. It's finding questions we didn't know to ask. Think about it. Human researchers are brilliant, but we're constrained by our training, our assumptions, the frameworks we inherited. We explore possibility space within boundaries we don't even realize exist. AI doesn't have those guardrails. It wanders into regions we systematically ignore, spots patterns without our cognitive biases, and identifies gaps in frameworks we thought were complete. Across every field, biology, physics, economics, AI is now suggesting experiments, hypotheses, and research directions that simply weren't on anyone's radar. Not because they were rejected, but because they were never conceived. This is meta-important. We've built a tool that expands the boundaries of human curiosity itself. It's not replacing scientists. It's showing them where to look next. Number 9. AI is discovering how to optimize complex systems. Let's talk about optimization. Sounds boring until you realize it's everything. Chip design, network routing, manufacturing lines, global logistics. Systems so complex that engineers spend careers fine-tuning them. We've gotten good at it. Decades of expertise, proven methodologies, incremental improvements. Then AI came along and found solutions that looked wrong. Google's chip layout AI arranged transistors in configurations that made experienced engineers uncomfortable, counterintuitive, messy, nothing like established best practices. but they performed better. This keeps happening across domains. AI isn't just shaving percentages off existing designs. It's finding configurations humans never attempted because they violated our intuitions about how things should work. The uncomfortable insight here is that complex systems contain hidden optima, sweet spots in the solution space that human intuition simply can't access. We've been climbing local peaks while missing mountains we couldn't see. Number 8. AI is discovering new physics behaviors. This one hits different if you appreciate how physics actually advances. AI models trained on experimental data have started identifying physical regimes we didn't know existed. Not theoretical predictions, empirical patterns hiding in real-world measurements that slip past human analysis. These systems are suggesting experimental setups researchers hadn't designed, flagging anomalies worth investigating, finding unexpected correlations in particle physics and material science data. Basically playing the role of the curious grad student who notices something odd in the lab results. Here's why that matters. Physics breakthroughs historically come from noticing when reality doesn't match expectations. Black-body radiation led to quantum mechanics. Mercury's orbit led to general relativity. Anomalies are the cracks where new physics leaks through. We've essentially built an anomaly detector for reality itself. The same process that once required serendipity and exceptional intuition is now being systematized, which is either thrilling or slightly terrifying, depending on your perspective. Number 7. AI is discovering lost archaeological sites. Time to dig into the past. Literally. AI has been scanning satellite and aerial imagery at a scale no human team could match. And it's finding things we walked right over for centuries. Hidden cities swallowed by jungle canopy. Lost road networks buried under desert sand. Structures so subtle that surveyors standing directly above them noticed nothing. Mayan complexes have emerged from beneath dense Central American forests. Roman roads we had no record of now crisscross European landscapes. Archaeological sites that existed only as slight ground variations in millions of images, invisible to us, obvious to algorithms. The advantage is pure pattern recognition at inhuman scale. AI spots the faint rectangular shadow, the unnatural straight line, the terrain anomaly that signals human construction beneath the surface. We're not just finding new artifacts. We're rewriting chapters of human history with civilizations and infrastructure networks we didn't know existed. The past keeps getting bigger. Number 6. AI is discovering hidden patterns in climate and weather. Climate science is about to get even more interesting, as if a burning planet wasn't enough. Here's the challenge. Climate systems involve countless interacting variables across scales from local to global. Traditional models are impressive, but they're built on assumptions humans encoded. We decided what matters and what connects to what. AI threw out those constraints and started finding relationships we hadn't programmed. Nonlinear patterns invisible to classical approaches. Connections between variables that weren't in any existing model because nobody thought to look. The practical results are already showing up. More accurate hurricane trajectory predictions, better drought forecasting, earlier flood warnings. Not marginal improvements, meaningful jumps in accuracy that translate directly to lives saved and damage prevented. The core issue is that climate models reflect human understanding of climate. AI finds patterns outside that understanding, which means our best models have been missing dynamics that were always there, shaping weather and climate in ways we're only now beginning to see. Number 5. AI is improving nuclear fusion stability. Now we're talking about the holy grail of energy. Fusion power, clean, virtually unlimited, no meltdown risk, minimal waste. The catch? Plasma is essentially contained chaos. Superheated matter at millions of degrees that desperately wants to destabilize and touch the reactor walls. Keeping it contained has been the engineering nightmare that's made fusion 30 years away for the past 60 years. AI is changing that equation. Machine learning systems now control plasma in real time, predicting instabilities milliseconds before they occur and adjusting magnetic fields faster than any human operator could blink. The result? Significantly longer stable containment periods. This isn't incremental progress. Plasma control requires reaction speeds and pattern recognition that exist beyond human capability. We physically cannot respond fast enough, but algorithms can. Fusion may still be years out, but the gap that seemed permanently insurmountable is finally closing. Turns out the missing piece wasn't better magnets or hotter plasma, it was smarter control. Number 4. AI is discovering new materials for batteries and energy. Battery technology might not sound glamorous, but it's the bottleneck for basically everything in clean energy. Electric vehicles need better range. Grid storage needs better capacity. Renewable energy needs somewhere to go when the sun sets and wind dies. The limiting factor isn't solar panels or turbines, it's storing the energy they produce. AI has been scanning millions of potential material combinations, hunting for candidates with the right properties. The scale is staggering. Hundreds of thousands of potentially stable new materials identified, each one a candidate for laboratory testing. New solid-state electrolytes, improved cathode materials, batteries that last longer and charge faster. Here's the speed comparison that matters. Exploring this material space through traditional experimental methods would take human researchers decades. AI does it in months. We're not waiting around for serendipitous discoveries anymore. The clean energy transition has been bottlenecked by material science, and AI just removed that bottleneck. The batteries we'll be using in 10 years are being designed right now by algorithms. Number 3. AI is making discoveries in mathematics. This one genuinely surprised people who should be hard to surprise. Mathematics was supposed to be the domain where human intuition and creativity were irreplaceable. Proofs require elegance, insight, the kind of abstract reasoning that felt uniquely human. Machines could calculate, sure, but discover new mathematical truths? That seemed like a stretch. DeepMind's systems proved otherwise. They found new conjectures in knot theory and representation theory, spotted patterns that professional mathematicians had missed, and suggested proof approaches nobody had imagined. These aren't approximations or statistical correlations. Mathematical truth is absolute. When AI finds a valid conjecture, it's discovering something eternally true. The collaboration model is elegant. AI proposes, mathematicians verify and understand why it works. Peer-reviewed papers have been published with AI as a genuine contributor, not just a tool. We're watching machines participate in humanity's oldest abstract discipline, and they're finding things we couldn't find ourselves. Number 2. AI is discovering new drugs, not just faster, but differently. Drug discovery is getting rewritten from the ground up. The traditional model was brutal, slow, expensive, and fundamentally conservative. Researchers would take known molecules and modify them incrementally, hoping something worked better. Billions of dollars and a decade of development for each successful drug. Most candidates failed. AI is playing a different game entirely. These systems design novel molecules from scratch, exploring chemical space without human preconceptions about what should work therapeutically. They're proposing compounds that violate pharmaceutical intuition, molecules no medicinal chemist would have sketched on a whiteboard. New antibiotics are in development, cancer treatments, therapies for rare diseases that never attracted enough investment for traditional research. Compounds that would have taken years to develop now emerge in months. But here's what really matters. This isn't just acceleration. AI is finding drugs that humans wouldn't have found at all. Entire therapeutic approaches that existed outside our conceptual boundaries. The medicine cabinet of the future contains molecules we never would have imagined. Number 1. AI solved the protein folding problem decades early. And here we are at number 1. The discovery that rewrote biology's timeline. For 50 years, protein folding was the grand challenge. Proteins twist into specific 3D shapes that determine everything they do, and predicting those shapes from genetic sequences alone seemed impossibly complex. The scientific consensus was that we'd crack it eventually, decades from now, with incremental progress. DeepMind's AlphaFold solved it in one shot. Near experimental accuracy, not for a few proteins, for essentially every known protein. 200 million structures predicted and published openly. Scientists who'd spent careers on this problem watched their life's work become obsolete overnight. That sounds harsh, but it's not. Their work trained the system and validated its outputs. They're now using AlphaFold to ask questions they couldn't have asked before. Drug design is accelerating. Disease mechanisms are becoming clearer. Synthetic biology has new building blocks. This wasn't incremental improvement. It was a paradigm shift that changed what's possible in biology, and it happened decades ahead of schedule. So that's the picture. AI isn't just automating what we already know. It's expanding what humans can know. Different game entirely. Your next masterpiece isn't going to create itself. Or maybe it will. Lovart, link below. Drop your most surprising discovery in the comments. Don't miss this next video about AI's impact on global society.